أستاذ تشيهان موجود؟
السلام عليكم.
Hi.
سوف أشارك باوربوينت الآن.
Warm welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Sarah. I'm a SJD student at Indiana University. Our session today is topic is USA and KSA legal market extension analysis. The presentation will run for 15 minutes, followed by 10 minutes for question session. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Chihan. He is JD candidate and holds LLM degree from Washington University in St. Louis. He also holds LLB from King Saud University in Saudi Arabia. His academic and professional background reflect a strong international perspective. He also fluent in three languages, Chinese, Arabic, and English. That's enable him to engage with the diverse legal system and markets. His research focuses on extension and structural dynamic of legal market cooperation between the United States and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Mr. Han, you may begin your presentation.
أوكي شكرا جزيلا للمقدمة للسارة وشكرا جزيلا. وأنا كذلك أنا سعيد جدا للقائكم اليوم هنا بهذا المجال. وأنا كنت سجلت سوف أشرح هذه ورقة باللغة الإنجليزية، لكن في اليوم في هذه البيئة أنا أريد أن أتكلم لغة عربية. So let's start. So this topic is USA and KSA legal market extension analysis. So we will come to some specific questions here. First question is the background introduction. Is a legal reform under the version 2023 in Arabic. It is called Ruqya Arifan wa Salasun Surudiya. Our first question is that are Saudi legal reform aligned with international standard for investor protection and commercial certainty? And my answer here is progressively yes. Major reforms include version 2023 and legal modernization. So first, I will talk about judicial modernization here in some details. I think Saudi Arabia introduced the judicial presidents in the 2021 Supreme Court ruling now serve as binding precedents, increasing predictability. So this is a common law thing. It's a very new thing in Saudi Arabia, different from the Saudi civil law and Sharia Islamia. And it expanded professionalized the judiciary and court specialization. Also, the court become digitalization, improvement of electronic filing and remote hearing across commercial courts, labor, tax, and enforcement court under the Supreme Judicial Circuit. And the second topic I'll talk about is commercial law, corporate law reform. So in detail, this is company law reform in 2022, introduced a flexible legal structure and allows simplified joint stock company. It is called SGSCS with lighter governance. It is permitted one-person company, which is called OPCs, to encourage entrepreneurship, and then it enabled shareholder agreement and voting arrangement outside. So this step moved Saudi Arabia closer to international best practice and signal a commitment to rule of law development. Yeah. And the next topic we will talk about is arbitration law. My question here is, are foreign arbitration award enforceable in Saudi Arabia now? And the answer is yes, but with conditions. So post 2023 international law forms. I think the arbitration law in 2022, 12 aligned with the standard, boosting investor confidence. For example, court enforce foreign arbitration awards increasing, and the increasing use of domestic and international disputes, offer bilingual rules, and timelines and rostered for global neutrals, promoted for domestic and international disputes. And what I'm specially writing here is that the enforcement law, Article 11 of Saudi Arabia, this law enforcement of foreign arbitration awards gaining traction via Article 11 of enforcement law. Court now routinely recognize foreign arbitration awards unless they violate Sharia or public order. So my understanding of this article is that Saudi Arabia is trying to give the best space for international arbitration as long as it's not violated local Sharia law. Okay. And then we come to our next topic. It is called the Regional Headquarters Program. And this program is the most important program for international law firms who would like to engage in Saudi market. So this program is about some requirements. And the requirements is and also, it can bring some benefits here to the law firms. For example, a substantive firm must establish a substantive Riyadh presence. It means it must physically present in the capital city, Riyadh, and it maintain MOJ licensing and GIWA and Nitagat complaints. Then build an audit-ready operational substances. Must demonstrate multi-nation function, decision-making authority based in KSA, minimum employee head count, and seniority level. So these are some requirements for the international law firms who practice in Saudi Arabia, but also there are many benefits here. For example, firms that treat compliance as strategic infrastructure will enjoy durable access to first public tenders and then PIF mandates and PPP and IPOs. I think here PPP stands for government-backed public-private partnership, and IPO stands for initial public offering. So here, the RHQ program, it have some requirements, but also it brings many benefits to the international firms here. And, and also as there are other benefits about this, is some like a foreign ownership, it is allowed, and and also they will have some tax benefits like 30-year tax holiday, 0% corporate income tax. These are the benefits of RHQ. And also, Saudization is a kind of requirement for a certain percent of Saudi employees. A law firm should have a certain percent of Saudi employer. Typically, that is 70%. And after reaching this percent, they will have a lot of benefits. First is regulatory credibility, and then a government trust, and reduce the visa vulnerability. So this is very, very important. I think this is most important for international law firms to have working visa, and they are giving unlimited working visa. لتعشيرة دخولهم مهم جدا ولا مهم جدا. What then is cultural legitimacy. And then the explained. So I have some strategic response here. It's the hiring plan. The firms onboarding Saudi law grad and second them a board for training and retention tools. A career advancement pipeline introduced in MA IPO teams, cultural alignments. And then we have training partners, joint program with King Saud University. This is where I graduate and where I miss very much every day. Princess Noor University and legal tech providers. And then we'll have come to another topic is about sovereign wealth fund activity. This is Saudi Arabia's PIF. So assets under management exceeds 900 billion in 2024 and target 2 trillion by 2030. Mashallah. This is a lot. And it becomes world's most influential SWF. Then, but how can law firms engage in these programs? It can engage in, for example, MA due diligence, fund structuring and giga project financing and international arbitration. And I have some example for some SWPIF example is like, for example, Latham and A.O. Sherman, they are working a lot in Islamic Sukuk finance and insurance, very big amount PIF. And also, another topic is that the legal challenges of navigating dual sovereign investment framework and cross-border capital flow. A law firm must navigate divergent legal system, for example, Saudi civil law and Sharia law, and ensure that contractual enforceability across jurisdiction and understand the investment treaty protects and form selection for dispute. And very important is they should have frequent Arabic speaking council with local bar membership and custom the documents that meet both Sharia and commercial law expectations. And then we will come to our last topic here is that how do regulatory change affect access, legal market and clients? Now, over 25 international firms are operated in Saudi Arabia under various license models. So I can have an example. For example, Quickerland and Alice is the wholly owned branches. And there are some joint venture examples. For example, Clifford Chance and A.O. Sherman, they are joint venture formations. And some there are new partnerships. For example, Pillsbury and King and Spalding, they are using their partnerships structure to practice in Saudi Arabia. So this is about my presentation. So, and this is a preliminary research and about the legal market. And this is just a draft I made under my professor. So I'm very happy to share with you today. And شكرا جزيلا وهل هناك أي سؤال؟
Thank you, Mr. Han, for your insightful presentation. Um, Anyone have a question, you can raise your hand, please. And let's start with the first question. From your perspective as a researcher, what strategic approach should international law firm adopt to achieve sustainable competitive advantage with the context of legal cooperation between United States and Saudi Arabia?
Yes, yes. This is a very, very good question first. And I think as we talk about, we have some requirements. It is, for example, the RHQ, the headquarter program in Saudi Arabia. Once a law firm have meet the requirement of this program, they have a lot of benefits. For example, public tenders like GF mandates. I think when winning this kind of projects, these are very, very big funding, public funding projects. They can achieve a substantial competitive advantage in Saudi Arabia. And also, we talk about Saudization. Saudization is a very good protect for Saudi local employers. And also, I believe that U.S. law firm will succeed in Saudi Arabia with hiring a lot of local talents. Because they know a lot about Saudi legal system and know how to practice here. This is my suggestion. And the third one is also what we talk about is dual jurisdictional capacity. A U.S. law firm who understand both U.S. common law and Saudi civil law and Sharia law will have a very good position, winning a competitive advantage in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, thank you so much. This is my answer to the first question.
Thank you, Mr. Han. The second question is, as a research from China, what factors have motivated your academic interest in the Saudi legal market, and why do you consider the field significant for your scholarly and professional development?
Yes, yes, thank you so much for this very good question. And this is a question that I love to answer. For example, I'm a Chinese, but I have a bachelor in Saudi Arabia, as you introduced. And also I speak, I study Arabic language and then a bachelor of civil law there. And then I come to the US to have a LLM and a JD. And to wish you. I think I have learned both the civil law and the Sharia law, and also many of my Saudi professors they graduate from WSU as JSD, so they are experts in Habir, in in Saudi market, and they believe that also I believe that there will be a huge opportunity between Saudi Arabia and the United States, and even my hometown, China. And I have trilingual skills that will help me to build some connection or engage in some legal work between Saudi Arabia, United States, and China. يعني مثلا بالعربية يعني هناك فرصة كثيرة وكبيرة بين السعودية بين المملكة وبين الولايات متحدة وكذلك بين الصين. هناك فرصة كبيرة وأنا أريد وعندي ثلاث لغات عربية إنجليزية وكذلك صينية. أيضا فرصة جيدة لي بعد يعمل في البعض أعمل قانونية بين المملكة US وكذلك الصين. شكرا جزيلا. This is my answer to the second question.
I think we didn't have more time for more question. Thank you so much for your insightful presentation, and thank you all for your participation, and have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for the next questions.
وشكرا جزيلا باللغة العربية.
شكرا جزيلا، شكرا جزيلا.